So as I was saying, if you like, you can check out this. Okay, this is called Math and Ticks Decimal Place Value. It explains about patterns and other things. Or some of my favorite number rock songs, converting fraction to decimal songs. Okay, and I'll show you some examples later, as well as relating decimals to fractions. Now look at this screen. You see 4 numbers to the left, decimals to the right. Well, what does it mean? I'm going to just put us to this page here. Now, so we need to understand what fractions are. We have fractions and decimals. Fractions are like parts. Like just now he said, I can have 1 apple and then 1.5 apple. Right? Correct? 1.5 apple. So you write the fraction as 1.5. So you have a whole, this is a whole part, a whole apple, and then you have a fractional part. It's a part. You don't get a whole apple, but you got a bit of something. Like in between 1 and 2. You know what I'm talking about? So between 0 is nothing, 1 is 1 apple, 2 is 2 apple, and 3 is 3 apple. You've got things that are in between. Like 1.5. You know what I'm talking about? Now, but the problem is 1.5 here, there's a relationship that you can have with decimals. Instead of writing 1.5, I can actually change it to represent it in terms of decimal. I don't need to write fraction bars here. I just need to use a different way of writing. So it's like a different way of writing, changing fractions to decimal. So for example, if I recall, I have 100 tens and 1, right? Followed by a decimal point, the 10th place, the 100th place, and the 1000th place. I use the smaller letters to represent the smaller parts. Can you understand? So towards the right are smaller and smaller pieces of the whole. I chop into smaller and 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 smaller. Until as small as maybe 0.0000000, as many possible 1 maybe. Like virus. Can you see virus? No, right? They are so tiny that you can't see. So it's definitely less than 1 centimeter. It will be 0.000 until there is many zero. Right? All right. So, and then on the other hand, towards this side, the left side, are bigger and bigger whole numbers. Right? And I can mix them together. Like I have 1.5. The easiest way of remembering decimals and fraction is like I have $1 and this is $1.50. Can remember that? So I got $1.50. It's like 50 cents is half of $1. Can you understand? So 50 cents is like half of $1. So because of this magical system called decimal system, I'm able to write fractions into this way, just putting this decimal point dot and inventing a whole new right hand side. So instead of writing 7/10, I can easily transform it into 70 cents like this, because it's a base 10. Now there are 2 ways of remembering this. The first way is by fractions. I cut 1 whole apple into 10 parts. So it's like 1/10. 1 whole is 10 out of 10. And I cut it to 10 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Like fraction this. Sounds familiar? And it's like thinking about this one whole, take it as $1, and each 1/10 becomes 10 cents, which is 0.10. Sounds familiar? Yeah? So in other words, 7/10 is like 70 cents, 0.7. You don't get a whole, so it's less than ones place. I got tenths. TNTH, tenths place, 0.7. Is this okay? Now there's another way to look at this. What's the other way of looking at this? Is like, let me do it with division. So taking this fraction bar as division. Now the best, of course, the best way is to remember by base 10. I change every fraction I see into equivalent fraction with either 10, 100, or 1,000. Okay, so meaning what? Remember this morning we talked about times 10 going to the bigger left side is times 10, and then times 10, and then times 10. So I become 10, 20, and 100. Does it sound right? Every time you go bigger is times 10. And on the other hand, it becomes smaller. It's like 110 followed by 100 followed by 1 over 1,000. Right? And then this side is ones and then tens and 100. Sounds familiar? Okay. Now the other way to look at it is I can divide by 10. This side is times 10, get bigger by times 10, times 10, times 10. This side is divide by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10. Is that becoming smaller? Is it okay so far? Okay. Now I teach you 2 shortcuts to help you. Okay. The first method, then you choose which one you're comfortable with. Okay. The first method of shortcut is I change everything to base powers of 10. Like this one. Then this one, I change to equivalent fraction. Multiply the numerator denominator by 2 to get 10 as the denominator. So I can get 0.8. Now, what is one of the tricks here? One of the tricks is if my denominator has power of 10 to the 1 0 here, one place here, after my decimal point, there's one space here. Okay? Let's say this one here. Okay? Times 4 times 4, numerator denominator. I change it to 100 as the denominator. 25 times 4. And the numerator becomes 32. Is this okay? Now, when I change it to this decimal, I will have 0. Here got 2 spaces. So I have 2 spaces at the back. 0.32. Okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? So even if this one, improper fraction. Improper fraction, that means definitely there's more than one whole. In this case, let's say I don't bother about whether it's improper or not. I just change, as usual, I change the denominator and numerator to base 10. Okay, denominator 10, and the numerator becomes 38. 19 times 2, 38. Changed it to decimal, still 0 point space, but now you got 38. So if you look at this, it will be 3 and 8, 10. So actually, it will not be 0.8, it will be 3.8. It's just like if I change this fraction to a proper fraction, to a mixed number, I actually get 3 and 4/5. And I also get 3 8/10 out of this. Can you understand? Is this okay? And okay, likewise for this one, I can either change it to a mixed number that is 6.5. Then I change it into 6 and 5/10. Or from here directly, I change the numerator and denominator 65 out of 10. It both works. As long as there's just 1 0 in the denominator, so it will become 0.1 space. 1 space, fill the last digit 5, and then you got 6.5. Is this okay? Can so and then this one, I can change it 2 times 25. And then point space 0.75. Because 2 powers of 0. So 2 powers of 0. Can you understand? Okay. Now, this is one method. One method. Now, a different method, also quite fast. Okay. On the same paper, I show you another method. The division method. Now, if you see powers of 10 is quite straightforward already. Let's say powers of 10. This is quite straightforward. Okay. If it's like this, I give it another a different way by division. I see the fraction bar. It's like saying 4 divided by 5. Okay. And I do my division. 4 cannot be divided by 5, so it's 0. Okay, minus 0, 4. Now I need to put in my decimal point now because it's part of the whole already. Add the 0 down, bring it down, 40. 5 times 8 is 40 minus 40, 0.8. Can you see? By division. Okay, let's say 19 divided by 5 here. Okay, I use a different method. 19 divided by 5. 5 times 3 minus 15, 4. At the decimal point, okay, add a 0, bring down. Can you see? Method 1, method 2. Which one do you like more? Method 1. How about you, Nico? Which one you like more? This one or this one? The division. Method 2? Okay. You? 好像 1. Okay. 好像 2. Nico? 1. Okay. Both ways work. But sometimes if it's like division, okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. Is that okay? Okay, okay, flip. Now, so likewise, now when you come to primary 5, right, there's one trick. I call the memorizing trick. Okay, I share secretly with you. Where is it? Okay. Maybe I'll ask our class if they like this. If they are fond of this, I can print it for everybody. This is called the fraction to decimal conversion family. Some of the common decimals that you can memorize to help you improve accuracy and speed in conversion. Okay, like for example, if I stop share here, for me, because I memorized since I was a kid, I really kind of like it. It's fun. So for me, I look at this, 1/4 is 0.25. And then you have 4 wholes, so it'll be 4 and 4.25. So for me, I have a secret trick. My secret trick is to memorize all the common ones. Like I remember half is 50 cents, so half is 0.5. You know what I'm talking about? And I know 1/4 is 0.25. Very common. And I can remember 0.2 is 2/5. Oh, 1/5, sorry. Why I remember 0.2 is 1/5? Because I remember 1 divided by 5. Yeah. So because of this, I know 2/5 is 0.4. And as well as I remember 1/8 equals to 0.125. So 3/8 for me is very simple. I can remember 0.625. Oh, sorry, I remember wrongly. 375. See, even me, I remember wrongly too. But it helps when I'm calculating. So for me, because of that, I'm able to convert fractions fast. Half will be 6 and 5/10 will be 6.5. And 3/5, I know base 10, if I convert, it'll be 3.6. And times 2 times 2, 118, 1.18. Okay, do I seem like I'm very fast? That only happened because of many years of practice and very good in my times table. But still, like just now, I also make mistake. It's normal. So try again. Okay, so there are 2 methods to look at this. Either the fraction method or the division method. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, then you can try this out. Try this and skip to 45. Now, from decimals to fraction. Personally, I feel decimal to fraction is easier. Okay, after we look through, you decide for yourself. Okay, which one you think is easier? Okay, Ken, is okay? Am I going too fast? Okay, okay, okay. This one, this page 45. Then my trick will be, remember I said it's base 10. So decimal to fraction is always the power of 10. So this one is 0.1 space, so it's 10. This one is 2 spaces. After the decimal point, there are 2 spaces. So I will have 1 space, space, 0, 0. So here there's 9, there's 19. There's 1 space here, so I'll have 10 and then 4. 4 tenths. 2 spaces after the decimal point, so I will have 1, space, that's 0, 0, and then 3, 5. On top, 35. Is it okay? And then here I have one whole. So I leave the one whole as it is. Decimal point, 1 and space. So 10 and 2 tens. Leave the whole as it is, 2 wholes. Fraction, 2 decimal places after the decimal point. So 1 space, 0, 0, 100. And 25. Okay, so what? Okay. And then this one also leave the whole as is, 0.5. So I've got 1 and then 1 decimal place. So it's 0. So 10 and then 5 tenths. And then whole number 4, leave it as it is. The decimal point shows 2 spaces after that. So 1, 2 spaces. And then go 6. Easy? 8, that's not all. Because here say must be simplest form. But you see, first step already completed. Once we can get past the first step, the next 2 steps not so difficult. Because they are all base 10. So it's either power 10, factor of 10 is either 2 or 5, right? Correct? Yes? So I can divide by 2 or divide by 5. Can I divide the numerator anymore? Cannot. So this is simplest form. This one can divide? Yes, divide by 2. Simplest form, 2/5. Is that okay? And then this one is either divide by 2 or divide by 5. Right? Yep. So I can have divide by 2, 1 and 1/5. Is it okay? Can? And then this one divide by 5 straight away, can or not? Can, right? 3.5. Is that okay? Now, then you look at 100. Then 100, factors of 100 will be, I either divide by 1 and 100, 10 times 10, 2 times 50, 5 times 20, 4 and 25. Is that okay? That means I can either divide by 10. In this case, can divide now. Now divide by 10. Can divide by 2? Cannot. Actually, 19 itself cannot divide, simplify anymore. So this is already done. Very odd number, right? Very, very odd number. No 3, can't do anything to it. Okay, 35 and 100. 5 divided by 5. 7/20. Is that okay? Divide by 5, divide by 5. 2, and can further divide? Can, why not? You want to straight away divide by 25? Right? Here what, right? So straight away divide by 25. 2.25. Right. And the last one? 3 and 50. Okay? Easy, difficult? Okay, right? Very, very easy. Also not like super easy. Super easy is like done. Okay? But now considered quite easy, right? Okay. So the first thing you need to get past is to understand the relationship between decimals and fractions. Okay, and how they convert from one to another. Okay, then the last part for fun, Okay, now with that we pause first. Pause first. Now I let you have back your worksheet. You see you can do corrections now or not. Okay? If you manage to do all the corrections by yourself now, that means you success already. Okay? But some of our friends are like, hey, how's no working? Cannot like that. Must have working. Okay? Okay. You try to do corrections first. Come. Then I go through. First up, you have short and quick one. Should have asked Tassie to stay as well. She got a plate blank slate. Never mind. Okay, you take a while to try. Then after that, yeah, work. Okay, how's this going? Just actually last week, when we went through the addition subtraction one, and many of you, especially Nico also, got share tips with me like how to make this easier. But you yourself never practice the skills that you say. You know, like, hey, if I got a junior, the P4s, I'll tell them to write the place value mat, like tens and ones, and then decimal point, tens and hundreds and thousands. Then she own self she never use. Then you have 3 tens, 1 ones, 3 tens, and 4 hundreds. It's pretty okay, right? You fix this already? Guys, fix this already, right? Okay, then you have this one. Then very funny, Nicole got this one wrong. She was the one who said, you must all put the decimal point align. Okay. Then she own self tell me, okay, then you put a plus. After that, right, you put 0.4, right, plus 0.76, right? Then you see, got a kosong here, you must add the 0 here. And then she own self say that she own self get this wrong. Okay, so you add, and then, correct or not? Correct. Correct or not? Correct. Okay. Yes. Any problem? No problem, right? Okay, right. Yeah. You got this correct? Hey, somebody got this wrong. Who got it wrong? Okay. Okay, again, never mind. Move on. Move on. Okay. Then the multiplication part. Are we all okay? Oh, okay. Hey, Nicole, do you need more paper now? You're right, and it's so big. Because later I would like you to staple, your corrections if you don't have space. If you don't have space. Okay. Can. So for 3.6 times 3, 3.6 times 3, 2 things to keep in mind. Number one, it's like saying 3.6 plus 3.6 plus 3.6. That's what 3.6 times 3 means. You know what I mean? So in a way, it actually does align the place value. Is this correct? Yeah. But in multiplication, you don't really align the 3 to here. So what happens is actually, you remember the times table well? Correct. It's like doing normal working. It's just that you have to, yes, put the decimal point correctly. Is that okay? Okay. Then this last part, last 2 parts, this part, division. So this is the part where I say, actually, if you do this, if you know this well, then this is very handy for turning fractions to decimals because it's using the same methods, division. So for example, 14 divided by 9. So 0, okay, 1, and it's 9, 5. Remainder 5, cannot, must move on. So I've got 1 whole. So 1 whole and something else. A bit more. Okay, but not enough to make 2 wholes. If it's 2 wholes, it will be 18 already. You know what I'm talking about? 18 divided by 9 equals 2. So it will be 1 point something. So it has to be 1 point something. I add the 0 at the back, bring it down. Okay, 45, that is 9 times 5. So then it keeps repeating. Oops. Keep continuing, right? And then on and on and on and on and on, right? So the answer is actually 1.555 dot 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 dot. But here says must include rounding. Okay, to the first decimal place. So 1 point, the first decimal place. Do you remember the curly wurly symbol? What does the curly wurly symbol mean? That's the tip for remembering. This curly wurly symbol actually looks like the equal sign, but it gets slapped into a curly wurly. You know, like twisted, you know, like bend into a curly wurly. It actually means, this one means equal, exactly equal. This curly wurly means approximately equal. Like about there. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like 1.6. Is it okay? Yeah. The last part here was what we have been doing just now. Is it okay? Were you able to do the corrections for this? Cannot. Need to help with any question? I think 404. Fauza done already. She already finished the correction. She ready to say bye-bye. You all ready or not? Finish correction already? Last part. Which one? 6B? This one? This one is it? Okay. So 49 divided by 6. Some of you is a bit careless because I know, like I saw, I checked your timetable that you write at the side. Then you chose the wrong one. Okay, so I have closest one 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 6 36, 6 times 7 42, 6 times 8 48. That's the closest. Decimal point. 0, 1. Okay, carry on. 6 times 6, 36. Okay, carry on. Is it the same thing that's happening? Yeah. Okay, carry on. And then on and on and on and on. So to 2 decimal places, so I have to the decimal places, 8.2 places, 1 7. Because 8.16666 is approximately equals to 8.17. Is this correct? Because you the correct one, you check. Correct or not? Correct. Okay, you do already or not? Your correction? Can? So I do now. Okay, I also, which one this one? Also. Okay. So I record everything down. Later, if you feel that you need to look at it again, you can also look at it again. Okay. Closest one, 6 times 5 is already 40. So I will not use 6 times 5. So 6, so oh, it's not 6 times 5, 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is already 40, so I use 8 times 4. The decimal point must keep it there. Bring it down. Align the decimal points. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 9. 8 times 6. 8 times 7, 56. 8 times 6. Let's write down lah. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, 8 times 4, 8 times 5, 8 times 6, 8 times 7, 8 times 8, 8 times 9, 8 times 10. Okay, so 8 times 6 minus 48. 8 times 4. 8 times 5. So the answer is 4.645, but I need to round it to 2 decimal places. So 4.65. Is this correct? It's correct. Okay. Thank you, Fauza. You're my check here. My answer key there. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay. Then the last page. You go through now. Or we just now those example good enough already. Okay, then you try yourself. The examples that we did just now. Okay. Okay. Then those can already, you can return to me. Then you can go already. If you really need me go through, then I go through again. It's okay. Okay. Then I say bye bye already. How are you going home? How are you going home? Off home. Okay. Careful. Guys, how about you guys? You guys? Take bus. You? Take bus. How's young? Still get which one? Here. Okay. You want to finish first? Okay. Finish. You want to finish first, then I'm here. Can help you also. How about today's homework? Is it okay? Today's homework okay? Need help or not? Need help or not? Today's homework. Okay. Easy, difficult. Easy. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow. How? Okay. What happened? Okay.